Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Derek in the Flow of Prosperity, and tonight, what I wanted to talk to you about is something that really was an abstract concept to me at not too far in the distant past, honestly, and it's healing. It's healing because here's the deal: the pains of your past, as you move forward, you try to find ways to avoid that situation happening again unconsciously. It's the job of your unconscious mind to kind of protect you, fight or flight mode. And what can happen is things like personally for me, like situations that weren't survival situations started to feel like for long periods of time like survival situations to me, and I would react in ways survival oriented when it didn't call for it. You know what I'm saying? And to have the clarity now and to realize how, sadly enough, that was creating my life, dude. It was creating the life that I was living. My self-worth was so low because I'd waste my energy reacting to these things that are going on in my outer environment that have no basis for to take them to this level of that it's that, like, if I don't do something about it, it's the end of the world or something is gonna just fall apart. And what I'm realizing is that now that I've cleared that subconscious block on some of that sort of stuff, dude, I feel very, I'm sure of myself consistently, if that makes sense. Like, I can feel that going forward. I know now what it is I want out of life, and I know that I know how to get it. I can create it. And that's the whole thing that I want to bring about. That's why it's on here on the In the Flow of Prosperity channel, because you those blocks, no matter what it is, that goal that you have, you want to be a millionaire, or you want to travel, or you want to um, live a healthy lifestyle, you want to be spiritual, or any of that sort of stuff, okay? These blocks here are the reasons that you are, quote unquote, failing your goals over and over again. Because that block just keeps popping up, and if you ignore it and just try to keep delving into what do I need to do this thing that I want to do, then you're not going to change that habit. It's a habit every time that somebody calls you the B word that you say, "What the who do you think you're talking to?" When you say that, because your mind programmed that in at a certain point, when either you watched that happen with somebody else, or you had it done to you, or did it to somebody else, and it all turned around. So yeah, that's what I wanted to pretty much just come on here and say, and like point out the fact, like, look, whatever it is that you're trying to do, you do need to heal. You need to find out those things. Why do you think that you're not good looking? Because I want to tell you right now, to somebody you are good looking. You really are. To somebody, you're exactly what they need. You don't have to be either, like, you don't have to be um, like a celebrity look to really have a fulfilling life, but we get programmed. That's in our media, even. Like, we get programmed to believe that we need to have this. You don't have to have, I'm going to just put this out there, you don't have to have the biggest thing. You don't have to have that. Somebody is going to appreciate the things that you do that you appreciate about yourself. But catch that right there. The things that you appreciate about yourself, when you start appreciating those things that you appreciate about yourself, somebody's going to show up that appreciates those things about you. Are you super caring and like totally attentive? I am, in a lot of ways. So that's something like I find in my life, right? I kept because I've been that way, but I didn't get the right love and return on that investment from like my parents. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not upset with them or anything. They did the best from where they were that they could. I'm saying this: there is a cycle of pain going on, okay? And as long as those blocks are there from that cycle of pain, it wasn't your fault that they got programmed into you if they were programmed into you earlier in life. It not really even your fault if they got programmed into you even at a current point in your life or whatever, and going forward it becomes an issue. Here's the deal. Number one thing to be successful, in my opinion, is healing. Healing. And when you heal those broken bonds, you're going to be able to go forward with a confidence knowing that this isn't going to pop up again. This isn't going to happen again that way. Because that's what happens. It happens more than once. Something happens more than once, especially because if it came from the same person. Okay, you're like me. I've been. This is the best way I could put it without getting too deep into it. Okay, I literally was so scared of a couple things. Somebody was either gonna hurt me, and when I mean that, either physically or their whole everybody's intention could possibly turn at any moment to that they are going to try to do something that would hurt me. Number two, that nobody would ever actually love me. And that's something I've dealt with actually just recently. No, there's more than one somebody out there that is totally can understand the type of person that you are, but you've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to face your quote unquote demons, the things that you're doing, some of them known and some of them may even be secret. But you've got to face them. And here's the deal. I'm going to let you know right now. What's going to happen is as you start to heal the pain, some of those things that you're disgusted with yourself for being or doing or having, you're going to realize they're not a desire actually. They're popping up because you keep denying your true desires. And it'll be like magic. They'll just kind of taper off and be out of your experience. And this is the whole point I'm trying to make about it, though, is that you're wanting to what? You're wanting to produce $1,000,000, but you're having a difficult time. The reason you're having a difficult time isn't because you can't produce $1,000,000. It's because you have some sort of limiting belief telling you that you can't do this because what? Either you heard it from somebody else in the past and it may have had even more triggers attached to it. They may have, what are you even thinking, and smacked you in the face or whatever. Or, that's just obviously that I could relate something to that to my experience. Number two, boom, what you could just be uh, thinking this based on like a society sort of influence. A lot of people think it, so you adopted the thinking, even if it wasn't taught to you directly by a person in your life. And number three, you could really just be experiencing the emotion of it because it happened like maybe one time in a certain isolated situation, and it was like the worst feeling experience that you I felt. Like it was traumatic pretty much, like, and it didn't even have to be something big, this is where phobias spawn from, you know what I'm saying? And um, I'll say it right here, I'm a big fan of self-hypnosis. I'm even a big fan of like finding somebody responsible that can help you like hypnotize yourself, because here's what happens is we all know that the more that we do a certain pattern it becomes a habit, right? Well, even if the hypnosis only works for like a couple months or whatever, what happens is you've developed another habit. Does that make sense to everybody? Like, does that make sense? And another thing, like, you can go check out this girl too, Blissful Bohemian. Type that in on YouTube, you'll find her. And she pointed out a lot of different things in this Toxic Mom series that I watched, and really honestly, I just got a lot of benefit from watching that right now. But the whole thing that I'm trying to get at is like, she brought up meditating, and seriously, from my experience, I've done all these different things, right? I did affirmations, I've read books about success. That all is great. I've done programs, little programs and stuff like that. Um, made out vision boards, but seriously, there's something about that sitting just quietly with yourself, and if you can, focusing, making like an anchor in your mind, like focusing on the breathing. Or I personally like to focus on my third eye. Like, I know it's there, I feel it's there. I When I focus on it, I feel like I engage it. So I like to focus on that. The breathing thing, I focus on too. But even when I lay down to meditate and I experience thoughts that are about things that I don't really want to and they won't go away, like, the problem is that everybody wants to heal, but nobody wants pain. And Bruce Lee is where I got that from. He said that. And it's just so true, okay? Like, you you want to go work out because you know that you're way overweight, and you want to look beautiful. Like, you want your body to be chiseled and to be sexy, and you want to have a girlfriend that looks exactly the same way, but you want her to have a personality. Like, you want more than just one aspect of these things. And what happens is, first thing happens is, you don't want to be seen fat out in public. You don't want people to see that you've become less than what they would expect that you would want for yourself. So you go to the gym or whatever a couple times, but then you see that you still have like a muffin top or whatever, and you're like, it's not worth it. I'm getting too much pain from the idea that somebody else is watching me. You really need to develop a tunnel vision, sort of. You need to realize, why are you there? You are not there for other people. You're there for you. You want to look sexy so you can attract a sexy girl into your life. You know what I mean? And I say, take this all that I'm telling you right now with a grain of salt. Like, look at me. I still got a little bit of a belly or whatever. But you know what? The thing going on with me now that's more important than ever, I love myself, and I full well believe in myself to be able to, not only in mind, this will all start to change without even going to do a workout or whatever. That may sound crazy to some people, but this is how it works, okay? This is where it starts, all right? My mind changes. I start loving myself. I feel like doing more loving things for myself, like eating more fruits and vegetables first. You know what I mean? I didn't eat fruits and vegetables for a long time. Like, I just didn't. My family didn't grow me up on doing that. Like, they had them around a little bit here and there, and they'd offer them for like a snack or whatever, but it wasn't incorporated into the meal like that. Like, not fresh fruits and vegetables, like what's good for you. You know what I mean? And anyways, I want to get back to the point though, right? So you're worried about being seen doing this thing and failing pretty much. You already feel like a failure and you're worried about failing. But what you need to be able to do to really put yourself in, build a foundation to start off of and win, is you've got to love yourself the way you are right now and realize you were trying your best. And then you need to also acknowledge, what is the things that I'm doing that's defeating myself? What is it for me? Is it uh, not eating so that I'm skinny, so that I feel like at least I'm not fat? Is it your anger? You just go off the handle about things that make no sense. Yeah, that's something I've been guilty of. But but yeah, just wanted to kind of touch in and say that, right? So then what happens is, now not only that, but then after you keep going through the pattern of wanting to change but not changing because you're really worried about what the other people think about you, we get in this mindset thinking it's about whether that person wants me. But the real truth is, you want that person to want you because you make the advancement. Does that make sense to you? Like, does that touch home base? That's what really, that's the real way of it. The real way of it is that you find a way to love yourself where you are. Then you slowly wait. You just kind of wait for yourself, that inspired action to say, no, yeah, you know what? I feel like going to the gym today. Because then when you go to the gym that day, you don't forget why you're there. You don't forget that you're there for you. And and that's pretty much it. Then the only thing that you really have to deal with is somebody really is judging you there. But you know what? Who cares anymore, dude? Don't you want to get the life that you've been dreaming of? Don't you want it to happen for you? Yes, it can happen. These are the steps. Love yourself. Boom. Allow yourself to feel it and become it. Then have that tunnel vision. Boom. They call it laser focus. That laser focus to I'm going to go to this gym. I'm going to start out by going once a week. Boom. As I feel more confident in it, I'm going to trust my body and my intuition. Boom. I'm going to start going 2 or 3 times a week. Bam. I may stick going to 2, 3 times a week. I'm going to start out by doing 5 minutes on 3 different machines, cardio. I'm going to choose exercises that make my body feel good while it's building muscle and stamina. Like these ideas right here are what I recommend starting with. I'm going to stretch before I work out. I'm not going in here trying to just look beautiful, trying to just make my body look strong and big or anything like that. I'm going to build upon myself and have a healthy lifestyle because I deserve a healthy lifestyle and I'm worth that. So, and it's the same thing with anything else that we're talking about. Like you run into problems with, you want to build a business, right? But I'm going to tell you what I found, like what I found out, and I was guilty of this, right? I wouldn't even start it. I wouldn't even start the business really. And if I did, I'd post a couple things. And if I didn't get any likes or whatever, or get enough attention, I'd be like, oh man. And I'd try to go find people to come like my music or check it out. And then I got spammy with it at some point. You know what I mean? But I figured out a little bit this time I don't want to do that so often. Like it's one thing for like people to watch my story or whatever and to see me talking about it. But it's a whole nother thing to just light up my freaking thing. And I did that before. But that idea and the reason that I reacted that way to the situation was because I was always seeking approval and didn't want to admit it. And as long as I didn't want to admit it, it is a block. But now I know, yes, I am seeking approval. So instead, I'm going to find a strategic way to get my products and services and content to people that's going to deliver it to them on my terms, and it's going to also make it to where if it's not their thing, they're not getting lit up by it, because that's the last thing I want to do. I'm looking for dream customers, people who are going to be happy to buy my things. And even I'm fine with people that, you know, are just interested in what I do and coming to get the free material even to start with and watching my YouTube videos or whatever. Like that's good enough. That's exactly what we're going for. Like, the great thing I feel like that I know that I'm adding to the new business world is this. These rants that I go on, they contain all the little whittly diddlies that make up the things that I'm talking about. So maybe they're kind of ranty or whatever, but that makes it to where those other people who really, really may be in such a place right now that they couldn't afford to get my program, or they feel like they couldn't. Either way, they could watch some of these videos and everything can kind of connect the dots, dude. Like, have I physically manifested my millions yet? No. But when people ask me about it, I say, it's in vibration. And all that means is that I believe we live in a vibrational universe, and I believe that even my thoughts, right, is like particles. And the particle exists in my thought, and the particle exists outside of it. So it's definitely attainable. It's, if nothing else, you could tell yourself it's possible. So, man, it's already been 20 minutes and it just feels like I just started talking. But yeah, dude, like I'll bring that up because on the other side of this healing thing that needs to be done, you've got to, I mean, that really ties in with it though. You've got to be able to like imagine that the possibility is there for whatever it is that you want. Like you've got to get rid of this idea that either because you didn't believe it at first, or other people don't believe it in your life that you love, or any of those sort of reasons, that it is attainable. Like, this is how I like to look at it, right? It's in vibration for me. And the reason that I can say that and full well say I have the millions, I'm already a millionaire, is because there are millionaires out there already, which that's still irrelevant. That's contrasting and comparing with somebody else. But what I'm getting at is this: there are there's like trillions of dollars out there, right? And there's a way to access millions of it to start with. So, and I'm right here just living my life, and I'm a person, and if they can do it, then I can do it too. That's a great affirmation for somebody who's, having a difficult time. Like, just remember that one thing. Two things, actually. You can say that. If they can do it, I can do it too. And then, boom, another one. The universe knows what it's doing. Right now, it hasn't given, right now, the world that contains the thing that you want, you haven't received it yet because you haven't offered that vibration to it yet. Once you offer the vibration to it, it is on its way. Now, this makes it a lot easier because once you say, "This is what I want," and you like to entertain the idea of you having it and the idea that you could have it, now the only thing that you have to do is clear these blocks we're talking about. Heal these wounds that are telling you that it's not okay to feel the way that you feel, pretty much. That's really what it boils down to. You feel ashamed to feel the way you feel about something. So, heal yourself, my friend. Take the time to meditate. Like, take the time to figure out how to build your business. Take the time to read a book for an hour at night. That's how I started. I just started. I would, at one time of the night, I would start reading. I would read books, different books about becoming a millionaire, psychology books. I started with, actually, at the beginning of it all, war strategy books and stuff like that. And I thought, wow, I'm going to find a way to get what I want. And I found out that that is definitely not the route that I want to go, because just a lot of unhappiness for everybody involved. But yeah, but you could start with whatever resonates with you and just build on it, dude, because that's what it is. And use some of the activities in these books that you'll read, these like self-help books and different stuff. Use the activities. I'll give you a couple right now just because it's how I go. Asking It Is Given by Jerry and Esther Hicks. You could check out this book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. You could check out Think and Grow Rich if you're wanting to create wealth for yourself, and even if you're just wanting like a plan that will get you what you want, period, in life. You could read The Science of Getting Rich. Let's see. Another book. Oh, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. I've already said all this before, anyways, I think, in a video, but I thought I'd just touch on it real quick. Like, you can go on Audible and listen to some of these. You can go on Audible. If you go and type in some of those, you'll get a lot of the materials on your suggested that I already have in my Audible. And I'll just put it into perspective. I have like 120 different titles in my Audible because I really, really genuinely believe that investing in yourself is the way to get to the things that you want. Like investing, figuring out the idea about the ideas you have. So, yeah, I think I'll probably like stop it there, but feel free to hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video. If you've got something to say, put it in the comments. Hit the subscribe button if you feel like I've added massive value to you already and you want to start seeing what's coming out as it is, because I full well know that as I keep going with this, I'm going to ramp up the content, and it is going to, my videos are going to start going viral the way that I'm going to be making them, because I'm only going to get better and better because I keep putting my focus into this. Like, I had take a little time off there for a while for healing, exactly what I'm getting at. And you know what? It feels good though to have come out the other side, dude. Like, it feels good to be on the other side and being accepting of all the situation going on now at this point, because honestly, you deserve to be. You deserve to have a life where you feel good. And here's the deal: you may not feel good right now. You may only find ways to feel good a little bit right now, but you know what? Once you start to be able to feel good and realize the control you do have, the way that you can guide your thoughts and your feelings and stuff to a place of feeling better, and you get that experience of just being on what they call in the Abraham Hicks series your high flying disc. Like, dude, there's nothing better than that. Like, the $1 million is like a after effect of that to me now. Like, feeling good is what it's about. Like, I feel good working on my businesses, so I do better when I feel good doing it. That's why when I was doing the healing, it made no sense to try to force myself to create this thing, because what's going to happen is those limiting beliefs are going to tie my thoughts up, and I'm going to collect a memory of how I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's going to limit me from taking it to that next higher level, because I'm not operating from a place of confidence and surety. I'm operating from a place of scarcity. I might say, oh, I don't want to invest too much into ads or whatever because it might not pay off. That sort of thinking. Like, you've got to be honest with yourself about where you're at, and you got to find a way to move on from it. So 25 minutes in, I think that's plenty for a freaking video on here, dude. I'm going to call it off. All right. You have a wonderful evening, morning, or afternoon. This is Derek in the Flow of Prosperity. I love you. I think that you're great. And I know that you can do anything. You can be anything, and you can have anything, okay? It's just getting yourself into alignment with it. And I think I've given you some resources that you can go and like look into, and you will start to gain an idea of why I'm telling you these things this way. Like, and I feel good knowing that even though this is so simple in the core essence of it, that I've brought it to you in this way with this, because there's going to be people that can just relate from it, from the way I'm saying it, and I that makes me pretty happy. So, um, you know, yeah. Anyways, I'll have to check you later.